This is what you want. This is what you get.
You have located GeekFest Rants, the entertainment podcast for genre geeks like you.
Shall we play a game?
Covering the world of vintage and current film and television since 2010.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Featuring in-depth conversations on sci-fi, horror, fantasy, comics, toys, and conventions.
So say we all. So say we all.
And now sit back, relax, and enjoy today's show.
Okay, everybody, let's take it from the top.
Something's happening. Something extraordinary.
Something exciting.
Something authentic and true.
Everything changes now.
And snap.
What's next? The future. That's our specialty.
Woohoo!
Do you trust me?
Yes.
May the Force be with us. It's like a dream. A wonderful dream come true.
You have something very rare. You have magic.
Hi everybody, and welcome once again to GeekFest Rants. My name is Carlos Perron, and today I have Kyle Perron, my son, joining me as we are going to talk about D23, that Disney-themed expo, convention, whatever you want to call it, that has tons of news and information and media presentation in terms of trailers having to do with Marvel and specifically Star Wars, two of our biggest interests. We thought we were done, with announcements just as San Diego Comic-Con had happened recently. But no, guess what? All of a sudden there's more stuff, and that is exactly what we're going to talk about now.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you a special news bulletin direct via satellite from our on-the-spot task force.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
Thank you, Bob.
It's Mort.
Mark, yes. I am Ted Baxter, and here is the news.
Okay, let's get started with D23. As I mentioned earlier, I have Kyle here. A couple of very interesting announcements and things that were shown. Usually D23, in the past, there wasn't really much to pay attention, to tell you the truth. D23 used to be this kind of quiet, kind of like slightly under the radar kind of Disney fan convention that, like I said, I never really paid much attention to. But over the last, I would say maybe the last 5 years, all of a sudden it's turning into its own thing. And obviously, with Disney buying Lucasfilm and how closely those two are connected now, and obviously the Disney connection to Marvel, D23 is becoming a more relevant convention event a place to announce your goods, if you will, that obviously, because it is a Disney manufactured, sponsored event, it's all about Disney properties. So in other words, it's not like a Comic-Con where you have to fight your way amongst all the other announcements from all the other companies that choose to participate, whether it's your own competitors or other properties that are on television, whatever. This one is so focused on Disney that they are now making it, and again, I say now, but it's been for a little bit of time now, one of their major tentpole events of the year of making announcements. So to me, it almost looks as if San Diego is one place, D23 is the other place. Those are the two major places where they seem to be unveiling all their wares and their future plans. So Kyle, why don't we get started? Let's start with Marvel, for example, because Marvel is huge. And we just came off of San Diego Comic-Con and a lot of stuff that we talked about, I think like 2 episodes ago or something. A lot of it having to do with films, Phase 4, films, the introduction of streaming service programs, live action and animated, which we hadn't seen before under the banner of Disney. And the fact that these are all going to be played on the Disney streaming service, which is another thing we need to talk about. This is something that we hadn't seen before. In the past, all these announcements have been, movie, that kind of thing. Now they're mixing it up a little bit. And I thought we were done. Like the last big thing that was announced, which surprised everybody, was Blade. That they were going to hit Blade sometime in the near future. So I figured that was the end of that thing. But little did I know, or little did I remember at the time, that yes, D23 might throw in a couple of new surprises. So why don't we go into a little bit of detail of some of the things that might be interesting to you guys.
For starters, they announced 3 new Disney Plus series, in addition to the ones that were already announced at Comic-Con. So now there's Miss Marvel.
Now, tell us, what is... I know Captain Marvel now. I know what Marvel Comics are. And I know a little bit of the crazy back and forth, I don't know if it was DC or what, of the rights of a certain character and how they had to change the name and change the character.
Yeah, because like Shazam and then...
there was this whole crazy history.
But
what is Miss Marvel?
Miss Marvel is... It's a fairly more recent incarnation of... I believe she's an Inhuman, and she was... no, in the comics she's not an Inhuman, but people are thinking she might be an Inhuman in this show. But she's basically a Arab American student who gets these strange abilities where she can kind of where she has I think energy powers and super strength, but she also has Mr. Fantastic has his stretching powers. She can do that to a degree.
But does it have anything to do with Captain Marvel?
A little bit. Her costume is based off because she was she idolized Captain Marvel in some ways.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, are they related? I know in the comics you have Spider-Man or it's Batman and Batgirl and whatever. So they're kind of connected.
It's not her sidekick, but it's an offshoot type of thing. It's like Spider-Man Miles Morales. It's kind of like that situation.
Okay, all right. Are we dealing in alternate universes?
I don't think
here?
so. Not with this.
Okay, at least not yet.
But yeah, so she's supposed to have her own series, which she was very popular. They've been trying to, apparently there's rumors that she's been trying to have an ABC show for the longest time. After S.H.I.E.L.D. started, they were trying to make a show off of her.
And we know right now that ABC Marvel is trying to separate itself, so everything goes to Disney Plus.
Yeah, or Hulu.
Right. But obviously, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. they're putting that to bed.
Yeah, that's
so they want to completely separate the two.
Yeah, so I'm kind of excited for that because that's a very popular title.
Any casting?
No casting.
Okay.
Oh yeah, for these 3 shows, there's no casting and there's no dates or anything.
Okay.
They just said we're doing this.
But they're live action.
Yes, they're all live action.
Okay.
And then they announced Moon Knight.
All right, what are we dealing here with?
Moon Knight is basically, as most people describe, it's basically Batman, but with multiple personality disorder, and his powers are strengthened at night. So even though he doesn't really have powers per se, it's like there's some magic, magically enhanced a little bit. So he's a little bit stronger at night. There's his perceptions are enhanced at night.
Okay. Is this an older character,
Yeah,
or is this kind of relatively new?
Yeah, he's an older cat. He's around like the same as Daredevil. He and Daredevil used to team up a lot, and Punisher, and he was one of the Marvel Knights series. That's part of it. But yeah, so he's basically Batman. I mean, he's in a way, he's like Disney Plus's Daredevil, since Daredevil's still technically under Netflix's jurisdiction until the rights expire from there. But yeah, supposedly a lot of sorry to go a little bit off topic, but with Daredevil, apparently a lot of the cast is even saying that it's the 2 years. They have 2 years since they act those shows, so we still have like another year before Marvel can even touch them with anything live action.
Well, hopefully we'll get to that point at some time where we can actually see the returning of not only the characters but the actors. We don't know if
Vincent
they're going to
D'Onofrio said he's like fighting he wants to keep playing Kingpin.
He is an actor that has so much clout, I would say, that he might be able to make something like this happen, so it wouldn't surprise me one bit.
So then next we have She-Hulk.
Okay, now here's the thing. Again, I don't follow the comics, and I know that a lot of times in the past, they usually start with a male character, and then they do a female version of that character side by side. Like you have Batman and Batgirl. Is there a Batwoman?
Yeah.
Or a Batgirl?
There's a Batwoman, there's a Batgirl.
Okay. Oh my God. Is there a Batdog? Because I know
there's a Batdog.
Oh, come on.
There's a Bat-Cow-Dad, too.
Stop. Just stop. Okay, so this is nothing new of trying to capitalize on an already existing character and create a female version or a pet version or a random animal version. I don't know. I don't understand that. And the bigger characters, I think it's more accepted. I don't know why, but it's, maybe it's because they made TV shows and they made movies. There was a Supergirl movie. There was a Superman. There's a Supergirl show. There's a Batgirl, Batwoman, whatever. There's a show right now. I get that. Even with the Adam West Batman, there was already the female version of that character doing her thing. Now, as far as I know, She-Hulk has never made it to film. Am I right?
No, not at all.
Had it even made it to animation? I
think that like it's some smaller cartoon. Well, yeah, they had Hulk on the Agents of Smash. I know they had her in there, and I think there was some 90s show she was in too.
Do you know anything about how does she become She-Hulk?
Okay, so if I remember correctly in the comics, I believe she's Bruce Banner's cousin. And like they had to do some sort of blood transfusion to save her life, which gave her like kind of half of the Hulk's powers, where like she didn't completely lose control.
Yeah.
But she wasn't like as buff or necessarily as strong as the Hulk, I don't think.
Is it still the type of thing where most people don't recognize her when she's Hulk mode? Like they think it's two different creatures.
No, she's still like. I think she still has I'm sure. I think there's been some cases in the comics where like she's lost it a little bit, but it was like always like some weird like mind control thing or something. I don't know, but usually she's like she has her mind all together.
It sounds like the Hulk that we see on Endgame now.
So she just turns into more like that. Yeah, she just turns green basically. She just turns green and like slightly buff.
And I'm going to assume she doesn't lose as much clothing as
No. She's a lawyer. That's her profession.
So does she Hulk out in the middle of a trial?
I don't know. We'll see about that. But like she in the comics, like during the Civil War storyline of the comics, she's basically like the superhero lawyer.
Oh, good. Hey, listen. Hey, I'm gonna try.
Like her identity's public, so she doesn't have to like. So she doesn't have to like. She's already registered basically.
I'll try.
So she can just basically like.
Can they turn this into something? I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, it will be fun. I'm curious though how they'll handle her origin though, because like supposedly Mark Ruffalo still has one more movie in his contract. I heard recently. But like, I don't know if they'll actually make it his cousin or they'll just make it some other person that gets his powers. I don't know.
I can see why this would go to a streaming service because obviously the things that they don't have too much confidence on, they don't want to invest in a full-blown film. So this is kind of like a trial. Let's see, hey, are people into this? Are people not into this?
I mean, I don't even know if that's really the case because these shows are like some of the most expensive things being produced like ever.
Right, but I think they can. The thing about the show is that they get the equivalent of not one movie, but a whole bunch of movies. So yes, you could save your money and make a movie, and then the movie will be out nowadays, 3 weeks in the theater if it's a mild hit, if it's not a blockbuster, and then you never see it again. So at least the TV show, they space it out, and it's I don't know, who the hell knows how's the best way to make money.
Once again, there's no dates on any of this stuff, no casting.
Okay. So this is interesting because in theory this could have been announced as part of Phase 4. So the fact that they are announcing it now and not putting dates, this might be part of Phase 5. This might be part of that Blade Wave.
Well, here's the thing. Apparently 2022 is still Phase 4. At least so far. That's what I'm
so
seeing.
Even Blade could be part of 4.
Yes, technically. And so could all these shows too, because they didn't announce anything past the end of 2021.
Okay.
So in terms of like dates, like secured dates.
Well, except for what we're going to talk about next.
Except for what we're talking about next, Black Panther 2. Which is coming out May 6th, 2022.
Okay, so that might be the tail end of Phase 4 as far as...
And then there's, no other news other than that Ryan Coogler is going to be the director again, and Chadwick Boseman is going to be Black Panther again.
I really hope they can somehow work Michael Jordan back into...
There's a lot of people have been saying that, and I heard somewhere that like they wanted to do something. I know he's coming back for the Marvel What If series as a voice, because most of the cast that they've ever had is returning as voices for their characters.
Okay,
but the next Falcon Winter Soldier, they showed a new like promo art poster there.
Right.
Where it's Falcon, and he looks like he's pretty much in the same outfit as he had last time that we saw him.
Right.
And Bucky seems to be in the same outfit too. The only difference though is he's shaven down and he's like all clean and stuff. He's got short hair again.
Okay.
He looks like he did in the first Captain America movie now. And then they announced some casting though. Wyatt Russell, who's Kurt Russell's son, he's playing U.S. Agent. And U.S. Agent is kind of like the more governmental Captain America. Apparently, so far the show is supposed to revolve around how the government doesn't want Falcon to be Captain America. And they
I was going to bring that up. Yeah. It's like we're not in Captain America mode yet.
No,
in new Captain America mode yet.
But the show is supposed to be about how Falcon finally like takes up that mantle, even though it's been given to him already by Captain America. But U.S. Agent is supposedly the government's choice to replace him. And so they kind of are at odds.
Now, is this also based on pre-written comics?
Kind of ish. It's a mix of a whole bunch of different stories. Like U.S. Agent was supposed to be replacing Captain America at one point for like Nomad, but Captain America didn't like him and he wanted. Then Falcon is just weird. But then also Sharon Carter from Agent 13 from Winter Soldier and from Civil War.
Okay.
She's going to be coming back for the show. And then we already know about Daniel Bruhl as Zemo again from Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
And then they brought in some of the cast from Wanda Vision.
Okay.
Too.
I think you mentioned before, and I even saw it in some of these little interviews, that the show is really going to be weird.
Yes, it's supposedly, and there's promo art. Supposedly, it's going to start off as a sitcom.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
And I think it's because I think it's going to be like alternate reality stuff. So she's going to like have this sitcom, and then there's a bunch of characters that they announced are going to be coming into that show, and perhaps they are like alternate versions, but still it's weird. But do
you think it's got a little bit but like when you were watching that show Legion, which is so trippy,
it could be like that. Yeah,
kind of thing.
Definitely.
Do you think it's more like that?
Yeah, and I heard, I never watched Mr. Robot, but they did an entire episode of Mr. Robot in a sitcom. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking of. Would be like that,
or even that other show that I haven't finished watching, Maniac.
Oh yeah, kind of like
where
that.
It's really psychological, weird.
Yeah, it would definitely be weird. But yeah, in the promo art, you see Scarlet Witch and Vision on a couch, basically. Mm-hmm. And they're all dressed up in 50s clothing. They're both, and Vision's in his human form, Paul Bettany form, and they're both just like laughing at something. But if you look at the shadow behind them, you can see the shadows are in the shape of their classic costumes from the comics. Because in the movies for Scarlet Witch, she doesn't have she has this tiara thing that she has in the comics, but we don't see it in the movies. But you can see it in the shadows, so that's kind of cool. So maybe they'll give her classic costume.
Oh.
So they announced Kat Dennings, who plays Darcy in Thor and Thor: The Dark World.
Okay.
She's coming back as her character somehow. I don't know. The casting for this show is weird.
Yeah, because that's not as
she's from Thor.
Yeah,
she's never met any of these people. I don't know. And then also the FBI agent from Ant-Man and the Wasp, played by Randall Park.
Oh yeah.
He's going to be in the show somehow for some reason.
Well, maybe that's the nature of the show, is that because it's so trippy and weird, it grabs people and characters from
same
everywhere.
Thing, and also because this is from news from Comic-Con that we had, but I forget the actress and her, but it was the little girl from Captain Marvel, the daughter of her friend.
Okay.
She's going to be in it as an adult.
Oh, ooh,
and
yeah.
she's in the comics she's supposed to be Photon, who's another superpowered like energy blasting
That's
hero.
probably Phase 5.
But she's supposed to be in that show too. It's a very weird cast. I'm very intrigued by it. They didn't talk about anything for Hawkeye or for Loki. Or
Black Widow.
Black Widow's movie, yeah. I think they showed what was the same trailer from what I heard, that it's the same trailer as the Comic-Con trailer, but there was like a little snippet of it that was leaked online, which I saw, which is just her fighting this other Black Widow person, which is she was one of the cast people. I don't remember, but it's not that important, but it was just it's there.
I saw recently a poster. Did it come from D23 or did it come right after D23? A Black Widow poster, which you see a lot of the profiles of the cast, including David Harbour, wearing what I'm told is the Red Guardian headpiece, at least, because it's only profiles we're looking at here.
Yeah.
So does that kind of look like what you were telling me about last time of him being the Russian version?
Yeah, he's the Red Guardian. Yeah, that's his. That's his thing. Yeah.
Interesting.
So that was all we got from that. But that's supposed to be the next Marvel movie we're getting.
Okay.
Is Black Widow. May 2020. Then they also announced Avengers Campus, which is a new park expansion for Disney parks. They're expanding it in California, Paris, and I believe Shanghai.
Now, isn't there currently a Marvel deal with Universal Studios, or that's kind of phasing out?
Yes, but I have no clue what the heck is going on with that, because technically they still own the rights to the Hulk and a solo project. It's a weird situation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care. It's not coming to Florida, so I'm probably never going to go to this thing.
And did they announce when that's going to come about?
I don't have a list. I don't know.
Okay.
But it's coming.
Somewhere.
Coming. But yeah, Florida's still going to have, though, they're building that Guardians of the Galaxy ride right now in Epcot.
Oh, that's right. That's still coming.
And I'm sure they're still doing, they still once in a while, they do some sort of special, pop-up thing they'll do. Yeah, so now we have to talk some sad news, right, Dad?
Oh, jeez.
Now,
do we know when this was announced? Was this announced before or after?
This was announced right before. I think it was a couple days before.
Okay.
And so apparently Spider-Man is leaving the MCU because Marvel and Sony could not reach a deal on how to continue with their Spider-Man partnership when it comes to the MCU.
And they still technically have time.
And they still have time. I'd give it about 6 months before they start production on something else without Marvel.
Right.
And I just heard more stuff saying that they're meeting this week about stuff, but I've been kind of ignoring all this because it's all speculation at this point.
This has to do with the sharing of so in other words, the Avenger films and stuff like that, even the standalone films that reference Tony Stark or they reference the Avengers or whatever.
This could have some serious implications. The MCU will still be fine without him, I think. It's just Sony is shooting themselves in the foot because even if they bring Sony back, and it's supposedly Tom Holland is definitely, no matter what happens, Tom Holland is still going to be Spider-Man.
Of course.
With Sony.
And you can still have, obviously, Sony can still have standalone films, which is what they want, without any Marvel references. They could do it. They could write themselves out of it.
People are going to be pissed.
And Marvel could do the same thing. They could continue with Marvel films, especially the team-up films, the Avenger type of films, without any references. Now, the question is, who could lose the most in this deal? And that, I think, is Sony.
Yeah.
So it's in the best interest of Sony to attach themselves to this monster that is Marvel, because they just have to kind of ride that wave.
Yeah, from the way I see it, the only reason why Venom did as good as it did is because people are hoping that Venom would eventually cross over into the MCU too, as a result of how Spider-Man's been handled with Civil War.
Now, Venom, we've been hearing rumors or confirmations that not only is Andy Serkis going to be directing the next one, but that what's the name of the bad guy?
Carnage,
Woody Harrelson's little tease at the end. He's definitely back on board.
And then they also got the cinematographer from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like they're pulling out, like they're really riding on this.
I assume that means Tom Hardy automatically.
The problem is with this is that like half the people that they've gotten are not going to want to watch the movie now. Any Spider-Man movie now, if it's not in the MCU, because we literally got to see. Like it's not that we're necessarily greedy about it. It's just you put it here, and now you want to take it away again. But they're not gonna make more money. They're gonna be losing money off it. They're not gonna have a hit like Far From Home ever again.
And I think this will hurt Sony more than Marvel.
Exactly.
Than Disney.
Marvel like here's the thing. Spider-Man in the MCU, he has not had that much of an impact in terms of the events of the thing.
Well, that's because they kind of worked them into it.
Yeah.
When they did this deal, they never had him in mind since the beginning.
Yeah.
It was like, oh crap, we just worked this out. Let's work him into it.
In Endgame, he's just another like foot soldier. He does, but it's not.
And here's the other problem: they attached them to Tony Stark, and they made a very emotional connection between the two characters. But guess what? Spoiler alert: Tony Stark is dead.
Yeah.
So that connection has been severed even without this deal going south.
And then here's the thing: in Far From Home, that the connection's been severed,
but
and
not,
the only person,
not for Spider-Man.
No, Spider-Man's been spent half the movie crying about it.
That's my point. He's still dealing with that.
So what's gonna happen now? Everyone's gonna be pissed when he goes to Sony. And he has his own solo movie without any MCU references.
Even Happy
because it might as well be a different character.
Right. Happy is helping him recover from it.
Happy is dating his aunt.
Oh, that's a big problem.
I mean, they could just say they can't. But here's the thing: they can't even say that they broke up because he's in the MCU. They would just have to pretend that nothing happened.
He'll be the equivalent of the breakup between the studios.
They would have to pretend that there was no alien invasions. There was no snapping.
They can't pretend. They just cannot talk about it.
Well, yeah, they can't talk about it, but as a result, you would lose so much depth out of that.
Right. It's again, Sony has more to lose than Marvel.
Yes.
Marvel has waiting in the wings the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. Yeah. They're just waiting to do something with those characters. They don't need
The sick
Spider-Man.
thing is that I'm telling you, like if this doesn't get worked out and Venom 2 comes around, I'm going to keep telling everybody that I don't want to watch it, just like I did with the first Venom, but I'm going to somehow end up getting dragged to watch it anyway. And I'm going to feel bad the entire time.
You watch it at some point. You watch it either in the movies or you watch it on video. And
I thought Venom was kind of dumb.
It was kind of
It was. It was like It was basically like a rehash of like the early 2000s style of superhero movies. It felt like it. Like there was a little bit nostalgic, but like at the same time, it was just like now I've seen all this good stuff, and now this is not. This would have been good 10 years ago, maybe. You know?
Yeah. I understand.
So we don't know what's happening with that, but supposedly still things are up in the air.
Obviously, the other big half of D23 has to be Star Wars related because those are the two biggest properties now for Disney is Star Wars and Marvel.
Yep.
The first thing that we got to see, which is important to be able to see something, is something that we were able to kind of look at a different version of it earlier on in the year, most of it pirated, which was the presentation during Celebration. Yes, they showed a whole bunch of Mandalorian trailer footage behind the scenes, a mishmash of everything.
You can still find all that stuff. I don't know why they never took it down.
They never took it down. But
they should have just showed all of it, honestly, in clear quality.
But this is the first time that they actually show us a produced trailer meant to be seen by everybody.
Yep.
So what we're going to do is we're going to play it down, and we're going to talk, and we're going to pause, different shots so you guys can kind of get a play-by-play of what this thing is all about. And as usual, we'll include it in the thing so you guys could watch it, the links. So here we go. Starts off with a shot of what looks like to be stormtrooper heads in the sand that look like they've seen better days. And walking through the shot, I assume it's the Mandalorian.
Yes.
It's the boots of the Mandalorian. And then you see all these stormtrooper heads also on spikes going right through the bottom, through the top. Very like... native headhunter kind of really violent end to these guys. It implies to me some kind of warning, people entering that area that that at least as far as we know, the stormtroopers are not wanted around there. Then you get the Lucasfilm logo. Then you see that ship flying around that we've talked about before that they've announced. Do you remember the name of the ship? It's got some really like bounty huntery name to it.
But it's practical. The ship is practical.
Oh yeah. They talked about that last time. I remember a practical ship flying over a very lush green forest type of field with little rivers or something, ponds, entering a town, walking through it. Very moody. Couple of shots of what looks like to be money or something being exchanged on a table, and then a shot of Carl Weathers' character, which again, these are shots that I think we saw before.
Yeah, some of them are, yeah.
On that leaked footage from Celebration. Cool shot of the ship also flying through these dried out canyons type of settings, and I don't know if there's water running through the cracks.
Yeah, it looks like there's water, yeah.
It's really beautiful looking shots. Also in the background, you have this music, very moody building. There's a slight Western twang to the music, but it's also very suspenseful kind of music. Shots of the Mandalorian putting his armor and weapons into place and stepping off of a ship. Shot of, I forget her name.
Gina Carano?
Yeah. Very quick shot of her. You barely notice her in terms of you don't know what's her about. You did get more information if you watch the leaked footage. Then there's a shot of some kind of creature. Looks like an Ugnaught.
It's an Ugnaught, yeah.
It is an Ugnaught.
And he's on a blurg, which is a Ryloth like lizard that they ride on. It's in the Clone Wars and stuff too. And they're in Rebels,
that thing looks familiar, yeah. And he's kind of riding towards the Mandalorian.
I think this kind of goes to the end of the trailer, but I think the Ugnaught he travels with the Mandalorian, but I think there's a carbon freezing chamber, and I think he's in charge of that too.
Oh, that makes sense. Oh, is that a Twi'lek?
Yeah, it's a Twi'lek.
It's a Twi'lek kind of winking.
It looks like she's, based on also from the previous leaked footage, it looks like she's part of like another group of hunters that he has to work with at some point.
So she might be a bounty hunter. She might be just some local floozy. Who knows?
And then behind her, I forget the guy's name, but he's some sort of comedian. I forget his name. Bill
Burr?
Yeah, Bill Burr.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's Bill Burr.
I was right. Okay, here we go. Classic, typical Western shot. You have the horizon, you have the red sky with the mountain range, black front, and you see just the silhouette of the Mandalorian with the weapon sticking out the back. Mm-hmm. There's your shot right there. There's your money shot. Then you see what looks like probably mother and daughter in a river hugging each other. Looks like something bad's about to happen. And a whole bunch of
Death Troopers.
Looks like they're about to shoot at something. Might not necessarily be her, but that's how it's edited together. You see what could be the Mandalorian or some other character tapping the trigger of the gun, ready for a showdown. It's again typical Western close up of the gun. In the background, you see your opponent. They're both getting ready to draw. And then you have a shot of Giancarlo, I forget his last name. Esposito. He's from a million things. And he seems to be the one who's commanding all the Death Troopers.
Yeah, he's they say he's an Imperial warlord. And there's the Mandalorian.
And then there's the Mandalorian. They're both like staring. They might be both staring at each other. Again, typical Western. Mandalorian has a sun behind his back because that's supposed to be advantageous in a duel. You always want to have the sun behind your back so you can blind your opponent.
Yeah.
On November 12th, slate. Then you see something kind of
speeder bike, yeah.
But before that, there was like something coming out of the sky at night,
like a bright light,
like a flare,
like a ship or something,
And there's this quick shot of a speeder kind of skidding in front of you and darting off to the left. And then some nighttime, there's like an ATST shooting.
Yeah, that's from that Lego set
that's right. We did see that Lego set.
It looks like they're like pirates that took a bunch of like Imperial stuff.
And they're just shooting everywhere at night. But then they cut to a shot of daytime village or town shooting happening. People are scattering everywhere, including the little girl. Might be the same one, might not. Then you got a shot of some interior complex front door being kind of like cut or blown apart.
Yeah, it got cut and then slammed down.
And then you see the silhouettes of the Mandalorian and an IG-80.
Well, IG-11.
IG-11, which
Taika
is
Waititi's character.
Right, which is that kind of walking into this facility.
Yeah.
More dogfights in space between the Mandalorian ship and some other ship. Quick shot of the Mandalorian holding some kind of huge, like a machine gun.
Yeah, it's a turret, yeah.
And then shooting up the top of the buildings at some bad guys. And then you got the IG-88 unit doing these weird moves that I don't think we saw before.
No, yeah, it reminds me of from the Clone Wars. There's a droid called Heisey, and he basically he has two guns, and he basically looks like an IG unit, only has a different head, and he just spins around in circles and just starts shooting everything.
Well, that's what this guy seems to be doing. He seems to be doing this kind of spinning motion.
And I read somewhere that supposedly he has like an arc, like he's in a lot of the episodes, like he's traveling with the Mandalorian all the time. And
so he must like meet up with partners and then
he has like an arc. He has like a whole story arc supposedly. So we're going to
he's shooting like everywhere. People are dodging and falling.
And that's he's holding a stormtrooper blaster.
Yeah, that's a stormtrooper blaster. And the second blaster looks just like the one from Empire, which is the one from the longer rifle, I guess, version. Then you have an indoor scene of stormtroopers drawing on the Mandalorian, the Mandalorian drawing on them. Nobody's shooting, but this is part of that leaked footage.
Also, if you look at his for our left, his right shoulder armor, it's I was reading it's short trooper armor. It's really? The same. If you look at the figure, it's the same shoulder pad.
Oh,
and I think also nobody's pointed this out either, but one of his glove pieces looks like it's also from short trooper armor too.
Okay, so then you have the line from Werner Herzog, which we kind of already saw in the leaked footage, and he says bounty hunting is a complicated profession, and that whole thing ends right there. That drawing scene ends right there, and then they cut to another scene, I assume from a different part of the show.
He's slamming a quarren onto a table.
Yeah, so it looks like he's fighting with some creatures, and it's possible that some of these might be previous bounties that he's dealing with. Who knows? We don't know at this point. And one of them is making a run for it.
Yeah, this is the highlight of the trailer.
And he snags them with
the cable.
The cable that comes out of his gauntlet. Mm-hmm. And he drags them back into the building because he's trying to make a run for it.
But not all the way inside.
And then he shoots the door closed as he's being dragged in.
Basically cutting him in half.
Well, who knows? We'll see. It
looks
yes, he did.
He's cut in half.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I thought he was dragging
Really?
him. Yeah, I never noticed.
This whole time? We've watched the trailer like 10 times.
I thought he was just closing the door because he didn't want him to escape.
No, that's what everybody's talking about is that shot. He's going to get cut in half.
I love the fact that
this is some dark stuff.
I like missing stuff and then I get it later.
Like the darkest things we've ever gotten is the Clone Wars, and this is going to top that.
Well, this is Disney Plus, so you're not going to see gore, I'm sure.
Well, no, not in Star Wars, not really, no. But this is definitely.
You know what it is in Star Wars? As long as you don't see blood, or at least human blood, you can get away with a lot.
They do that in the movies, in the new movies.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
I'm sure they'll cut away.
Then you get a shot of here's my point. Like then you get because this guy he is different. He is a different guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you get a shot of
some guy in carbonite.
And
the Mandalorian's in the back, like walking past them. There's a whole line of them. There's like 4 of them.
Oh yeah, there's like a whole bunch of them. Yeah, and I couldn't that's the thing. I thought this guy was the guy he was wrestling with before, but no, this is a different guy. The guy who was wrestling before was like a squid face looking guy.
Yeah.
This guy is more like one of those Jedis with the horns. I forget the name, but whatever race that is.
I don't know. I can't tell really.
Because he looks like he's got these horns, or maybe it's just
I don't know. It looks like a completely new thing I haven't seen. I don't understand. I mean, Carbonite's hard to read.
And then Warren Herzog once again saying, "Don't we agree?" Which is a continuation of the lines from earlier, and then the Mandalorian turning towards him, no words. Again, perfect. It's the man with no name. This is Clint Eastwood. This is a fistful of dollars. This is the good man, the ugly. It's exactly what this character was supposed to be back when it was created, before he was tweaked into what he became. And then you have the title, Star Wars The Mandalorian. You have, again, the music is still there in the background. I really want to know about this music. I forget who the guy is.
I don't know who's.
I think I've seen the name before somewhere, but
I don't know. I was kind of hoping maybe it would be Kevin Kiner who did the stuff for Clone Wars and Rebels, but
the problem is that sometimes for teasers like this, they might not be using the real music.
They do that. They did that with Rogue One. They got some random 12 Steps from Hell music or something.
And once again, you have the Disney logo, and you have November 12th. This is the beginning. So this could potentially be huge as far as Star Wars fans, as far as disillusioned Star Wars fans, angry Star Wars fans. This is a version of Star Wars that will hopefully appeal to the people that feel that Star Wars has strayed so much from the original path of Star Wars that they no longer want to watch Star Wars, or they want to spend 90% of their time posting how much I hate Star Wars YouTube videos and making tons of money.
I hate seeing those so much. They come up in my recommended so much, but I'm actually pretty happy with 90% of the stuff that we've been getting, and it's just ridiculous.
And in my case, I might not necessarily be as happy as Kyle, but I still want to see it. I still want...
Yeah.
I keep saying the same line. This is the old George Carlin line. Sex is like pizza. When it's good, it's great. And when it's bad, it's still pretty good. Star Wars is like pizza.
Okay.
Sorry,
right.
Kyle. It's hard to break that to you, but sooner or later you're going to understand how Star Wars is related to pizza and sex.
I don't think I'm going to do this anymore. I think I'm just going to start crying.
But yeah, this is what the tone. I'm talking about the tone. Remember, trailers. You can have a great trailer for everything, and who the hell knows? But this is the great tone. The fact that it's short. What is it? 8?
I think it's 6 or 8 episodes.
6 or 8.
Yeah.
The fact that it's only about an hour a piece, I imagine, and this is definitely the type of thing that's going to keep you wanting more.
Especially because it's a weekly thing. They're not. Right. You can't binge this all right away.
Yeah, and there's no fillers. When you have a short episode list like this, that you can't just. The writers don't get bored and they just do filler episodes because they have to pad it. No, you're getting the top, the best cut of the meat. You're getting it right here. And we'll see what happens. I already signed up for Disney Plus. They had a special running a couple of days ago.
It just ended last night.
Where it was basically the equivalent of 30% off, or basically 2 years. And you sign up for 2 years and you get a third year free.
Yeah.
So they had that deal. Maybe they'll have another one. You might want to jump on it. It comes down to less than $4 a month with that deal, because normally I think it's $5.99 a month or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But
which isn't bad. It isn't bad to begin with, honestly. But I'm sure they're going to bring the prices up.
Yeah. So that's your Mandalorian, which again, that's gigantic.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this. Next, they released a new it's basically another teaser for episode 9. The first half of the teaser, though, is just like footage from the other movies, and then like I would say just skip to like halfway through.
Yeah, let's go through the new stuff. So let's get ready and go through the new stuff. Here we go. So you got a shot of the heroes walking into this area, which looks like
the desert planet Pasana, I think it was what they called it.
And there's like a lot of people there cheering. It looks like it's some kind of celebration or a welcome type of thing going on. Then you have Leia looking happy.
Yeah, this shot is super interesting because this is literally taken straight out. It is literally the same shot, or at least a different take of the same shot from episode 7. What they did, though, I think they digitally altered her clothes and her hair.
Well, we know that. We know that they did a lot of work to get her into this.
They literally had to change all of her clothes using digital. Like, that's not her real clothes.
Right.
Like, they kept her face, and I think then they changed the hair a little bit. Like, I think they gave her more gray hair, and I think that was it.
That makes sense.
And then,
the story of a generation, Slate. Okay, this is a cool shot.
Yeah.
You have a whole bunch of rebel ships coming off of hyperspace into an atmosphere, but you're looking at them from the perspective of them arriving. They're all in silhouette.
There's so much in this shot.
Yeah.
There's B-wings.
Yeah.
There's Y-wings.
Yeah.
There's
A-wings.
There's
X-wings.
There's a classic Rebel Corvette like the Tantive 4.
And look over here. is it possible that we might have old style X-wings and new style X-wings? Because look at the size of those engines back there.
I need to lean in.
Right? See these engines back
No,
here?
those are still the half ones, I think.
So, but the question is, are the A-wings and the B-wings the same, or the old ones?
I can't tell if that ship on the right is the Falcon.
Well, here's the thing. This is definitely a Corvette.
Yeah.
And
I can't tell if that's the Falcon.
No, it's not the Falcon. People have looked through the archives and they posted pictures of what
to me it looks more like the Ghost, even though it probably isn't.
Like I said, I think I don't think it's created. I think it's coming from somewhere that's already been an EU source or something. So it is possible that's nothing.
I think it could. I mean, it looks like it could be the Ghost. I'm hoping it's the Ghost, but it's probably not the Ghost.
No, because see these these rear engines, they kind of stick out the side. The Ghosts are built into the back.
Yeah.
So again, this is a really cool shot. And then you could call it the opposite shot, but even though it seems to be taking place in a different sky. The Rebel sky is kind of like the sun is out, but the next shot you see Imperial. Now here's what's very important here. You have Imperial Star Destroyers.
Yeah, those are classic Star Destroyers.
A lot of them, like
a lot
of them.
Like these are not they're not first order ones. These are classic.
No, and then the next shot you get, let me see, I'm gonna go forward a little bit. It's so quick because it's happening at night and there's lightning.
I read also that if you look very closely, I think if you even turn the brightness up somehow, you can see that they have red stripes on the sides.
Oh, but you can see those towers, those classic original trilogy towers.
We're thinking this is probably where the Sith troopers are coming from. If this is like Palpatine's fleet or something.
Yeah, this could be a whole new wave of Imperial or new First Order ships that are more traditional looking.
Yeah.
Because obviously every film you have to give somebody, you can't give everybody something new to look at, new toys to buy, new things, new flavors of Skittles and troopers and stuff like that. So yeah, that's an interesting shot. And the fact that they don't show them to you in detail, it's obviously they're trying to hide something from you. So you could be right. They could be all red for all we know. Next shot. Looks a quick shot of Finn, and there's a girl behind them.
Yeah, she's a new character.
And she was introduced at Celebration, so she is...
I don't remember. I think Naomi Aki, I think was the actress's name. But I don't know what her character's name is.
But now, here's what I'm a little concerned about. I like Finn and Rey, because they were originally the first pseudo couple. And I know that in the last film, we threw in Rose. So it's almost like an unofficial triangle now. My question is, are they trying to pull, without spoilers, without just our own speculation based on these stupid trailers, not on any fanboy, behind the scenes kind of shenanigans.
Yeah.
Is this the possibility of them saying, all right, Finn is going to be paired up with someone else because we want to be able to save Rey for a possible, the Reylo thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that maybe it could be that she could be maybe his sister, maybe, or something, because they're not.
I don't know if you want to go that's the brother sister path again, because we already have to deal with that with the Luke and Leia problem.
I think it's more likely, honestly, that she has like no relation to any of them.
Some people are also saying Lando's daughter.
That too, I've been hearing, which that would be even more likely, honestly, in my opinion. But I don't
care what her lineage is. I'd rather keep it the way it started, but hey, that's just me. And then you have another slate comes to an end. Again, we're continuing the story. So it says come to an end. Next shot we have. Okay, here's another controversial shot.
Evil C-3PO.
Evil C-3PO. Oh, we're saying it's basically C-3PO. He almost seems like he's coming out of an oil bath or walking into something, because the shot is from the bottom up.
Yeah.
And his eyes are bright red.
Yeah.
So remember, in the prequels, we had him with a red arm. No, he
doesn't have the red arm anymore.
No, well, the red arm I think went away in the last film already.
Yeah.
It was already gone. But
I just remembered
in the prequels, his head was put on a red droid body, if you remember, the Geonosian body. In Force Awakens, he had a red arm, and we found out what the red arm was in a comic book. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure the red arm was already removed.
Well, he doesn't have red eyes in the last trailer, because in the last trailer you see him on a speeder and he has normal eyes.
Yeah, you're right.
I think this, because there's a lot of people talking about how maybe C-3PO is has to do with the MacGuffin of the movie, where there's something on his databanks or something like that.
No, there has to be. R2 is always the guy who saves the day.
I don't know, but C-3PO supposedly has a big part in this movie, so this could be a part of that. I don't know.
But this is something everybody's speculating like crazy, like us. Why is he turning evil? What's going on? Okay, you got a shot now of some laser massive thing hitting the ground and blowing things up.
It looks like the Starkiller laser, but it looks like a much smaller beam. So this also makes me think okay, so maybe these the Emperor's new weapons or something is like mini Starkiller lasers.
Like they load them on Star Destroyers.
It could be on those ships or something.
Maybe Star Destroyers that have a laser attached to them that are very powerful. Let's say.
Like the Dreadnoughts, just more powerful.
Explosions. Okay, now we have Rey in a forest, but hey, I just noticed this. Look at that.
Yeah, there's a little training probe.
There's like a training remote, because I only noticed this shot. I didn't notice that. I just noticed.
Yeah, I realized that last week, but it took me a while.
If you don't look carefully like me, she's throwing the lightsaber around and chopping trees with it, like slicing trees as the lightsaber is rotating. But now I'm noticing there's a remote, like like a Luke remote, except it's red. Ooh, there's the color red again. Yeah. And maybe she's practicing lightsaber skills. Yeah. That's a possibility.
But yeah, she misses it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. And now she's got a red rag around her hand, like a little flag type of thing.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
Oh, boy. The red, well, wait till you see the last shot. Oh, and she catches it. And she has that red thing. it's like a wrist thing that kind of flies around, and then a shot of what looks like to
Kylo
be
Ren's
Kylo
walking
Ren
away from
from his ship towards you at night.
Yeah.
Very dark. Let's hear what they're saying. Your journey, which might be the Emperor's voice.
Yeah.
And then a shot of Kylo and Rey fighting on what could be a ship.
It is the Death Star. I'm 99.999% sure it's the wreckage of the Death Star because that's a turbo laser back there.
Oh, you get that. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, okay. I thought it was like some kind of futuristic.
Also, because it's in the water. It's in the same spot as that other trailer.
Yeah, so there looks like they're fighting.
Also, I just want to point out, and I feel so like amazing for pointing this out, even though it doesn't mean much. But if you look in the reflection of Kylo Ren's reflection in the water, you can see he doesn't have his cape because the cape is CGI. You don't see his cape.
Oh.
So that's
How do you know his cape is CGI?
Well, because you can't see it in the reflection, Dad.
Oh. Yeah,
unless it's not real water, unless they just really goofed up on that. But yeah, his cape's not there.
Wow. Okay,
but that's just me being in.
Okay, I gotta watch it again now because I want to see the him walking and the reflection.
Yeah, if you look closely, you don't see his cape. It's not his cape. It's his. Well, it's his underneath is black too. It's his like he's wearing a similar outfit to when he was fighting the Praetorian guards.
Look over here, his cape falls off. See? Now he's
no, it's not falling off. It's still attached. It's just flapping. It's flapping around.
Oh, okay. Well, we're again. This is we're losing it. Wait, what did he just say? Hold on, let's try that again.
Nears its end.
Nears its end.
Your journey nears its end. And then we get.
Oh boy.
And then we get.
Okay, 2 shots.
Psycho Rey.
Okay. We see a shot of Rey. She has a hood on, like a possible black hood. It's dark, you can't tell. But there's 2 red blades parallel to each other. It's an unstable blade. It's not a solid blade. It's more like a Rey blade. That's something
it's more like Kylo Ren's
like a Kylo blade. And then they widen on the shot. And what it is, it's these 2 lightsabers that are kind of parallel to each other, connected in the bottom. And I guess she flicks a switch. And they kind of turn one of them turns clockwise while the other one stays steady into the, let's say the 12 and 6 position, making it a dual bladed, like a Darth Maul type of.
Here's the thing. I love this so much because there's literally something from like every era in that one shot. Like, because, okay, so if you remember from the Clone Wars, Pong Krell, General Krell, he has 2 of those type of sabers that are Jedi, and he's a Jedi.
But they don't do this.
No, they do that. That's how he puts them on his belt.
They turn at the edge.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then also the Jedi Temple guards, some of them have those, but it's a shorter blade. But yeah, some of them, and they only have 1. General Krell has 2 of those.
Yeah.
He has 2 double-bladed lightsabers that click and click out. You know?
I'm looking at the hilts, and they look completely.
Those are longer hilts too.
They look completely different than anything I've seen before.
Those are more like designed, like how Rey had her staff. She had a lot of area to grip onto the staff. Those are purposely longer. Like Darth Maul's are literally just 2 regular sized blades put together.
Yeah.
But hers are two hilts that are elongated that are connected by that joint.
And then after that dips to black, and then you get the Star Wars logo that opens up that says The Rise of Skywalker.
Yep.
So this is a second trailer, right?
This is a second teaser.
So does that mean we get a third?
I'm sure we're going to get, like, because honestly, both of these were just teaser trailers. We'll get a real trailer probably, in October.
Now, the other thing that was released that I completely forgot to mention, that we still have to go through the rest of this list, but they also released, and I think they were handing them out for free for the people that are attending, another teaser poster. Now, the first teaser poster, which I already ordered, it should be arriving probably today or tomorrow, is the one that just says Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, the logo poster.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first actual teaser poster with actual art in it, and it's basically Rey and Kylo from the other shot from the side fighting in some debris, which is, like you said, it might be the Death Star remains or whatever. She's got a blue lightsaber, he's got a red lightsaber, and in the background you see the silhouette of what most likely is the Emperor. What's interesting about this poster, one of the things I don't like about this poster, is that to me the art, especially the Emperor art,
you want to know why?
Looks a lot like Clone Wars.
You want to know why it looks wrong? Because it's a Hot Toys figure.
Oh, I think I saw
it's a Hot Toys figure.
I saw pictures. Somebody was comparing it to that.
It's literally a Hot Toys figure.
Well, to me, it looks like Clone Wars Emperor drawing, not Palpatine, not Ian McDermott looking.
They just drew it over it. It's the same.
And the lightning back here, it almost looks like he's wearing a beard, so he looks almost like a Santa Claus kind of looking guy.
It's still a cool poster, but it's not the right. Like it's because it's stupid Hot Toys. Ever since I saw that Hot Toys figure, I'm like, oh god.
I would have made this silhouette more look like the Emperor from Return of the Jedi. I would have made it a little more. I would get rid of that beard looking crap. That it's not beard. It's just the lightning or the water
energy,
or whatever.
Yeah.
And the eyes and the nose, and they I don't know. But that, again, we're just nitpicky. So let's see what else. What else do we have?
Well, they already announced Cassian and K2SO as a show, but they further confirmed that it will be filming next year.
Right. Obviously, no teaser, nothing. Just the actors were there. They were just to say hi. How you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And now the other surprise.
But then the big surprise.
But this was leading up. This big surprise. There were hints for the week before.
There were hints for the past year.
Right, but after Disney decided to pull everything back in and to stop with the movies for a little bit, this was one of those ideas that was kind of theoretically shelved.
Yes.
But then about a week or 2 weeks before,
it was like a few days before D23.
There were little blips of Ewan McGregor might be still kind of campaigning for playing Obi-Wan.
Well, they had Hollywood Reporter basically said he has signed a deal to do Kenobi. Either a movie or a show of some sort.
Yeah. So, again, that's one of those things where I don't even like to report that. I don't even like to repost that on Facebook because I'd rather
especially because this always happens with Star Wars too.
Yeah.
Marvel, this doesn't happen, but Star Wars somehow there's always some sort of leak in terms of that.
Yeah. So all of a sudden he was there and the announcement.
Yeah. So it's been 100% official, and then apparently that's going to be starting to film next year too.
Wow.
And they had the scripts are all done.
And this is Disney Plus.
Disney Plus, yes.
Just okay, good.
And then we also have, they announced, now that we're talking about Disney parks, the hotel.
Oh, well, more details.
Yeah.
In terms of it, we knew that they were working on this luxury hotel, let's say. And we knew that the price was going to be ridiculous. We knew that already. What they kind of clarified and got more to the point is that apparently the theme of itself, of the actual experience, is that you are on a luxury galactic liner, more or less.
Yeah, like a cruise ship, yeah.
Right. And that everything that's happening inside that ship will eventually also lead to you going to the parks and doing stuff, and then coming back to the ship, basically coming back to the hotel, and it continues. And it continues while you're in the hotel. Your experience doesn't stop.
Supposedly it's only 2 days at a time. You can only book a 2-day experience. That's what I saw.
I thought it was a 3-day minimum.
It's 3 days. You leave in
2 nights.
Third day, 2 nights.
So it's probably 3 days, 2 nights. But here's the catch. It was going to cost you about a little over $3,000 per person to do this experience. Yeah. You can't just go for 1 day. They want, I think, that 3-day, 2-night thing minimum.
Yeah,
per
it's
person.
Like a little cruise. Yeah,
So that is one way of thinking, of kind of wrapping your mind around it, is that in terms of the expense. Obviously, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. And obviously, most of us can't afford it. But if you are used to, or if you every now and then go on a cruise, then maybe that's how you can kind of wrap your mind around it, in terms of saying that you could spend that kind of money to go on this Disney Star Wars experience, virtual cruise, if you will, because it's not really, you're not going out to sea, but you're going to feel, they say, because every window you're going to be looking into space and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So this is just a little more information of what's coming and what they're working on. So at this point, we don't have details exactly of what every single experience within the place will be. We kind of have a general idea, but the price alone is something that kind of whoa, this is not going to be possible for, I would say, 75 to 80% of the people that even make it to Disney. And the people that make it to Disney is probably maybe 30% of the people that wish they could go to Disney.
And I thought going on a regular cruise was expensive, and this is insane.
Right. There are people you can go on a cheapy little cruise for maybe less than $1,000 sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is some. Again, this is the equivalent of the luxury boxes at a stadium, if that's the best way to describe it. They are definitely drawing the line and saying there are certain people we don't want here. There's just no way to get around it. I mean, you could kind of, if you look at the glass half full or half empty, you could say, well, this is an experience for those that would like to spend that money, but you can also say this is an experience so that we can keep people away from. It's the same thing with the parks. They keep raising the prices, and they're like, well, we have to pay for our resorts and we have to pay for all these expensive things, but the reality is that you're narrowing and narrowing and narrowing the amount of people that can go in the park, because it's kind of like again, another example is Las Vegas. Do you want the little old grandma that's going to be playing the nickel slots and the quarter slots for the next 3 hours, or do you want the guy that's going to be plunking down $10,000 per hand playing poker? From a business perspective, kick grandma to the curb, bring the whale that will spend $10,000 per hand. That is, unfortunately, without getting political, that's called business. Business, you want volume and you want money. You don't necessarily want more people. As a matter of fact, with Disney, because of how crowded it is a lot of times, they probably don't want people. They want to have less people in the park. This way, the people that can afford it, their richer clientele, don't feel as uncomfortable around the huddled masses. So one way to thin out the crowd is to make it more expensive. One way to, it's hard to say to people, sorry, you're not allowed in here because you look different. No, that's called racism. But hey, there's a legal racism, and that is money. You can say, well, you can come in here, show me $150. Show me $200. Oh, sorry, ma'am, you don't have $150. There's the door. Get out. So in business, that is legal, and that is where we're at right now, is that with Disney, because the demand is so high, because the money is so great, they can now do this sort of thing. They can narrow it down and narrow it down and narrow it down so that you eliminate a large percentage of lower income individuals and substitute them with higher income. Who can afford $3,000 to go on this thing for
Not me.
I couldn't imagine.
I'm a broke college student.
A single person maybe can save, and that could be their vacation for a year, or maybe 2 years, save for a year or save for 2 years to have enough to do that. A family of 4, no way. Especially if you're making over $100,000 a year, yeah, you might be able to pull this off, but no. This is a completely different. Again, if you're all about the box seats and the company boxes, the company special private luxury, type of stuff for sporting events. If you're used to that and you can do that, this might be right up your alley. This also might be a great corporate incentive. Some companies might have this. They might book 10 rooms a year and give them to their special clients or special, the VP of blah, 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 just did such a great year. The company gave him a 3-day stay at Disney to do this experience. That's maybe what this is about.
Yeah, I know they have like a special like military related hotel, I believe, that's like for like government meetings and stuff.
Okay. Well, yeah, I understand that. Yeah. And they might have special discounts, and they might do let's understand something. Anything having to do with charity, anything having to do with military, anything having to do with, a lot of times, believe it or not, diversity, it's not because you have a good heart. For a corporation, anytime they do those type of things, it's because of publicity. They want to be known as the nice guys, so they will spend money so you can buy the reputation of being the nice guy. So, and that happens everywhere. You can have, that you look at television channels, you look at NBC, ABC, Fox, you look at everything, and they'll tell you about how charitable they are. They're so charitable, and we also send money, McDonald's, we have the McDonald house, and we're all about, no. That's PR. That's public relations. That is money you're spending so that people don't think you're a creep. That's what it is. And unfortunately, a company like Disney does that too, just like most major companies. They will donate money to certain causes, but they don't do. My whole thing is this: if you want to be charitable, be silently charitable. people don't have to know about it. Do it, for your own conscience. But when you do it and you make a big deal about it and you want to make sure people know about it, that is the main intention. They want to show the world how charitable they are. Something like this, it's on the other end of the spectrum. Now you might say, well, we can tell where you're now, Carlos. You're a Disney hater. No, you know what? I still love the product. If I can afford it, I'm going to do it. This to me looks like something we can't afford. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it's successful. I mean, I don't know. Will they have enough people to run this thing full?
Yeah, that's the thing. I just don't know if they'll have enough people that will do that.
I don't know. The international, you have a lot of international people that come, and depending on what country you're coming from and depending on the particular economics of the time.
The other thing is they
can fork down that money.
They could, but it's Star Wars, they might not.
Well, it's very specific, yes.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And you might be coming from countries that don't even care. Like China, for example, Star Wars doesn't do that well in China. So does that mean you can bring international Chinese fans? They might have the money, but they might not have the interest. So it's got to be very specific. If you're not into Star Wars, you're never going to go to this thing. You're never going to spend that kind of money for that. It doesn't make sense. Who knows? Even in this country, sooner or later, we're going to get hit with a recession. It's going to come because it always comes every couple of, years. So is the timing right? Is the timing right to put out a luxury resort when we're kind of waiting for a possible recession to hit? Who knows? Who can predict these things? Like I said before, I can appreciate the crap out of it. I can tell that it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be amazing. But who knows? If it doesn't work out exactly how they want it, maybe they'll adjust the prices and make them a little more affordable. We'll see. This isn't kind of like, for us, this isn't the type of thing that you could do like every year. This is like a once every 5 year type of thing if it ever were to happen. And if they were ever to adjust the prices to make them a little more affordable for regular people, not the super wealthy. But you never know. Like I said before, maybe there will be a change and it will become more affordable for some people in some shape or form. So there's always that to hopefully look forward to one day. All right, well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. I'd like to thank Kyle for joining me today and helping me out put together all this information that we were kind of hit with, and we were like, oh my God, there is enough information here for a show in terms of this is very relevant material, that we started getting all the way back, I would say, during Celebration into San Diego Comic-Con, and now today, with all this additional D23, I have a feeling this is where we're at right now. This is a point where they're done giving us, all this upcoming information. And I guess the next big thing coming up is probably going to be Force Friday. When it comes down in October, that's when we will get the next big wave of Star Wars merchandising, maybe some more material, maybe some more posters. Who knows? We'll get something, I'm sure. So on behalf of everybody here, thank you for listening, and we will see you here soon at GeekFest Rants. Bye-bye, everybody.
It's indescribable to work with creative people, especially people who make movies. It is such a thrill. It's overwhelming when I think about it. And I keep saying to myself, I can't believe this is me. I can't believe I lucked out this way.
Let's give it up for Stan Lee, guys. Woo-hoo, yeah!
5 lousy words they gave me to say.
Thanks so much. You're a great director.
It's something you never forget.
And thank you for all of this, and I hope that I didn't set interviewing back a few decades. Okay. I'll see you later. Thank you.
Appreciate it. I remember every cameo I've done since the first one. And I think I'm a very lucky guy.
If you would like to subscribe to our show, send us messages, or see video links to some of the topics we talked about today, please visit our homepage at geekfestrants.com or our YouTube channel, Facebook page, or iTunes at GeekFest Rants.
I don't know what we're yelling about!
GeekFest Rants is produced by Carlos Perón, copyright 2019.
This broadcast is part of the IC Robots Radio Network. Visit icrobots.com for this and many other nerd/nostalgia related podcasts. You won't be sorry for long.